Today's topic is all about programming and how you must die to your old self. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Law of Attraction Detox, where we detoxify from toxic techniques and instead we focus on our true nature, where all the manifestational power exists. Here in the present moment, that's what we're going to talk about today. The programming that pulls us away from the juicy, ever-present, expansive present moment. Programming that we're born with. Programming that our friends, our neighbors, our loved ones, our co-workers are being inundated with on a day-to-day basis, because we look at our 3D world and we interpret through our eyes and our senses, and we judge our world based on what we think and believe about the world. And so how do we change something if we don't know how to do it? How do we change who we are within if we don't know what it would really even feel like to have $1 million? How do I change myself? How do I die to my old self if I don't know what I'm dying to? How do I become the person within myself that already has the love of my life, that already has the dream career and job, the passionate pursuit of my path? Well, I'm going to tell you that it's a little bit of a backwards approach. So here on my channel, we detoxify from techniques because I believe techniques are what helped to bring anxiety into my life for decades. Okay, I started this journey of learning how to manifest and reading all about this more than 2 decades ago. And what it brought me was further from the truth. It brought me further into trying to manipulate and use my mind to control my world. And so when you think about programming is, yes, done with the mind. It is brought into our subconscious mind. It's like the back door where things are brought into our home and we don't even know how it got there. And now all of a sudden, all of our behaviors, all of our thoughts, all of our actions, they all come from this subconscious programming. So how do we change that if we don't know how to feel, because we're taught like feel it real and all of these things. And I'm going to tell you it's quite simple, okay? And it doesn't really involve any techniques. Okay, wait for it. It's really simple. Okay, just sit here and be with yourself. It's called meditation. And I fought to not meditate. I did anything to not meditate. I bought programs, I bought books, I paid people, I did anything I could to not do this one simple thing that's not even a technique at all. It's just called being. And when you are just being, listening to the trees, listening to the rustling of the leaves, you notice that everything is fine. There's stillness. All is well. But then the mind will jump in and tell you, oh, he hasn't texted me. Oh, she's not calling. Oh, I wonder if I probably didn't get the job. Oh, I need money because I got to pay the bill, and it's constantly running on a program to pull you into its existence. Because, the mind's, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying like, oh, get rid of your mind. We need it for calculating problems. But when you use things like techniques, for instance, like the imaginal acts, forcing yourself to imagine things that don't exist in your life without the true basis and the foundation from which those things create. Let me explain what that means. So when you aren't meditating and creating a foundation, it's kind of like trying to make a cake, but you're only making the icing and you're not doing any of the things that people actually eat and call cake. So when you're not meditating and feeling yourself, clearing out old stagnant emotions, taking a look at the beliefs and what that might mean about your identity and what are you identifying as. If you're not doing all of those self-inquiry tasks, then you are literally trying to jump forward 10 steps ahead and then do this imaginal act, which for me, and if this is something you felt too, drop a comment. For me, it brought me more anxiety. because then I would open my eyes to the world around me and I'd be like, yeah, it's on the way, it's coming, I'm gonna have it. And then all of a sudden I would be like in despair, anxious, trying to manipulate the world. How do I get what I want? It's not here. And so it was creating this duality, or this two different lives almost. One where I knew that the thing was on the way, and the other where I was anxiously worried about where it was. And the really beautiful thing that I've discovered through devoting myself to conscious love and the expansion of conscious love, that everything starts to just flow like the river, just effortlessly to me. Now, I'm not saying I just sit around and like stare out at the world and like wait for things to come. I get intuitive nudges that bring me closer to what I want. People feel inspired to offer things to me or bring new opportunities my way. And that's because, in essence, you're programming yourself to be in the flow of life rather than programming yourself to try to get certain things. So when you're dying to your old self and you're becoming this new version of yourself that already has what he or she desires, it's not something that you have to try to do. You don't have to try to figure out what it would feel like to be a millionaire. You don't have to try to figure out what it would feel like. You just naturally start to feel that way because you're here, present, enjoying life, using your senses, enjoying this day like it could be your last, because who knows? None of us know when it's our last day. That level of relaxation, that level of surrender is what allows life to flow through you easily and effortlessly. And it almost starts to happen so quickly that it can be a little bit frightening. And I sometimes myself even go through contraction where, wow, all the goodness is happening. And then I would like close the doors and the blinds and like jump back in my cave and like, okay, just breathe. Because it just starts to happen and it's better than you expected or imagined. You get inspired to post something on social media. You get inspired to message that lover that you want to be yours. You get inspired to maybe sit back and rest and relax. The thing is, you don't know what the next best step is. Only life knows. So when you're trying to do techniques and you're trying to affirm, he loves me, he loves me, he loves me, she's mine, she's going to be mine, she's going to be my wife, blah, blah, blah. When you're trying to force these things into this like brick cement wall, and you haven't first gone out and through the back door and looked at your programming, what have you been programmed to believe is even possible? There's where you want to start. You know, I can probably guarantee that you have some sort of program that doesn't believe that what you want is even possible to have. That there's some kind of programming that believes that life doesn't work for me. Or, you know, oftentimes it's, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough. Or if you're not loving yourself, I'm not lovable. So these are really the basics of the backdoor approach that I do with my clients with hypnotherapy. You know, it's a powerhouse session that I offer because it's going in deep and looking at what is the program that you're existing in on a day-to-day basis. And how do I help you jump out of that? Well, it's a lot longer than a 12-minute video or however long this video will end up being. And I find that it's hard to even describe the immensity of how amazing and incredible the magical present moment is. That this present moment, your mind will try to tell you this is not going to work. It will try to tell you maybe that manifestation isn't real, you're delusional. It will try to do all sorts of things to hold on to your old identity. But you must die to that old self. You must not literally physically die. You must say, that is no longer me anymore. And you must become a happiness warrior, okay? I couldn't like trademark that because I've been using that for a long time, because it is like a battle, because you're battling against a current of programming that you have literally held on to your entire life. A battle against programming that a whole entire world is believing. And there's a few of us out here who are like, that's not actually how it works. I'm getting out of what I call like slave-like mentality, where I am no longer enslaved to this reality that I was born into. Okay, I am stepping out of that box, realizing the infinite potential. But it also takes a huge and massive level amount of trust, because I don't always know what the next step is until I do. And if I try to use my mind to go through mental processes to figure out what is the next step and how do I get there and what do I do next, then it pulls me out of knowing what to do next. See what I mean? The paradox is like, the more techniques that I try to do, the further away I get from the intuitive knowing of what to do next. So you have to put on your suit of armor. You have to put on your shield and your sword, and you have to fight. Every time you notice, because you're going to practice your meditation, you're going to do 3 minutes in the morning. You're going to do a few minutes at night. Just checking in with yourself, feeling your aliveness. And from that place, and with that stillness as a baseline, you are going to discover the thoughts and the ideas and the concepts that don't belong anymore. And you know that this is like, oh, this is the program. This is what Kristen was talking about. That is not actually what I want to believe about my life. That is not actually what I know to be true. I know that love is easy to get. I know that love is easy to receive. I know that having a dream relationship is easy. I know that because you see it. You could see evidence. I know acquiring financial wealth can be easy. I see it happen all the time. I know this is possible. Okay, this is what I want you to start to focus on. Die to the old self who doesn't think anything is possible. You have to make a choice right now. Okay, you're going to make that choice right now. Choose. This is who I'm now going to be. I'm going to be a believer. I'm going to be a happiness warrior. I'm going to fight for what I know to be true. I'm going to choose to program myself with goodness. And every time I come against something in my world that doesn't look like I want it to, I'm going to choose to perceive it. Like Neville Goddard says, the bridge of incidents, I'm going to choose to perceive it as something that is bringing me closer to what I desire. Because if you have a desire, then I guarantee life knows how to bring it to you. Okay? You desire wealth, life knows how to bring it to you. You desire your dream relationship, life knows how to bring it to you. But the trick is you have to surrender to what it looks like. You have to surrender to what you think you know is best. And that's where it gets tricky, especially if you're talking about specific people or specific amounts of money or specific places. Yes, you can get specific, but in my experience, life has something even better. I had a very specific car. You know what? I got that same color and the same, make, but I did not get the same model. I got a better model. I got a newer model. I got a newer, better everything. Okay. And so if I had only held on to, it's got to be this car, and I was just imagining only that, life might not have given me this opportunity, because you are the creator and the creation, but there is a cosmic creator that we are a part of that creates this whole life, that makes the birds sing and the grass green. Okay, so that, my friend, is way more powerful than whatever my mind can conceive. So on this channel, I'm helping you, I'm helping my clients to get into the state of being where they already have what they want. And once you get into that state of being, bam, you don't even care if you have it or not anymore. And then, wow, opportunities show up and life just flows more effortlessly. You don't have all this anxiety that's stopping you from the flow of creation. Okay? If you need help with this, contact me below. I have Powerhouse 3-pack of hypnotherapy. I also have monthly coaching, which helps to bring you back into this state of being, this peaceful, grounded, centered state of being. It's well worth it. It's well worth it if you really, truly have been struggling with trying to manifest something for years, or you've been struggling with these concepts or trying to get this right. There might just be one little thing, holding a mirror up so that you can see this, and one tool that maybe you hadn't thought of. and that you try and now it works and now you're changed, you're a whole different person. Okay, or keep watching these videos, subscribe, and I'm going to start putting more out now that it's nice out in the summer. I'm going to be outside more, so stay tuned for the next time. And you know what? Remember, you already are within you that which you desire to become. It's just that there are some programs that have you believing that you're not. Okay, meditate on that one. Love you.